Take a seat. My name's Jamie Clayton. I'm a resident of Grafton. I've lived here about 13 years now, me and my wife. Like many of you, my family goes back a long time in this town. I learned to love this town 50 years ago. And I like living here, like a lot of people like living here. I think we need to put a lot of this behind us, past us, and move on to positive things we need to accomplish in our community. Flo's a very good person. She's got a good heart. She's done a lot for the community, and I think we need to recognize that. I also think that probably the way we did business last session was not the most appropriate. Maybe it should have been not even brought up for business and tabled and discussed and talk about it like we are now. As a community, we need people to come here. We're on a scenic byway. We're just a destination, or sometimes we're just a passing point for people. But we need people to come here. The community needs people. We have businesses that are deeply invested in our community, from east to west, top of the hill to the river. And everybody has a commitment. And they try to live here in harmony and make things work. It's part of our example. We try to put out a good portrayal of our community. We advertise. We try to say, come to our community. Wherever you're at, come visit us, come see us. We're a good hospital community. And we need to put this behind us. We need to get past. And I really think we need to vote in a positive way, address the situation, find a way that we can all compromise, be reasonable, be fair, grant a permit, and invite the community and invite the bikers to come to town. I rode a bike for a long time. I have nothing against it. It's a fantastic hobby. And you should be proud to have this type of people wanting to come to our community and be here. And frankly, I think as a citizen, I would like to see it work in a positive manner. I would like to see them be here. I would like to see them granted a permit and a form of compromise reached and work in a positive manner to where we can have people want to come here, have people be proud of coming here and say, I came to Grafton and it was a wonderful experience. I appreciate the time and I hope it works out positive.
Thank you.
Dear Mayor Thompson and City Council members, I am outraged and disappointed with the Grafton City Council for putting on hold the decision to grant a permit to the Christian Motorcycle Club for their third annual bike blessing on the March 24th, 2015 council meeting. I am a Grafton resident as well as a motorcycle rider. My understanding is that this delay was based upon prejudice towards the biking community. You worry about bikers, but yet one of your own council members caused a controversy the whole city of Grafton and the surrounding communities. I have heard on different occasions local residents complain about the noise the bikes bring to our community. But it isn't any different than the noise from lawnmowers, leaf blowers, boats on the river, four-wheelers, vehicles that are souped up, exhausts, dogs barking, and music from the local bar owners. What are you afraid of? Grafton residents opened up the town to outsiders, and now you want to control who comes into our town. That just doesn't make any sense. I believe from my own observations that Grafton is under siege from its own residents. The greed that lack of respect for the town of Grafton is evident in the destruction of land, trees, and riverfront views by erecting ugly buildings on stilts and starting an industrial park in a tourist destination. All for the sake of progress? We should be afraid of ourselves. I belong to a group of about 150, actually it's about 197, motorcycle riders. We are hardworking, tax-paying people. We are factory workers, cashiers, beauticians, nurses, business owners, gardeners, secretaries, military retirees, policemen and policewomen, 911 dispatchers, firemen, bus drivers, correctional officers, and homemakers, and credit union bank managers. That would be me. We are mothers and fathers, grandparents, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles. We are Christians, love our country, respect our flag, and look out for one another. I have observed when down in Grafton that the motorcyclists are spending their hard-earned money in our town at the gas stations, restaurants, ice cream parlors, hotels, bed and breakfast, ferry, flea market, fruit stands, gift shops. Isn't that what is needed and wanted in Grafton? I will state again that this negative attitude towards motorcycles riders is based on ignorance and prejudice. A bike blessing was recently held in Roxana, Illinois, and my husband and I, we did attend that. There was approximately 1,400 people that attended without incident. This is the 21st century, and a lot of changes have evolved in the biking community. Education is the key to eliminating negative attitude. I would hope that you are fair and swift in your decision at the next council meeting and allow the Christian Motorcycle Club riders to have their bike blessing held in Grafton. I also pray that all of you be open-minded to any other bike groups that want to use Grafton as a destination. This is written by Deborah Gowen, Lady Biker, resident of Grafton.
Thank you. Next I have Peter Allen or Betsy.
Hi, my name is Peter Allen. I live on Sandpiper in Grafton. I also operate the loading dock. First wanted to congratulate the winners of the aldermanic election and thank the exiting members for their service. Well done. On the agenda tonight is, it was pretty not well said, but it was live music, I'm sorry. Discussion about live music maybe is on the agenda. I just would hope that that it is discussed before it is acted on. Adding new restrictions to the live music situation, I think, is a serious matter, and I think we can all work together to hopefully make this resolved in a good way. Thanks.
Bill Rendell.
Chamber of Commerce, and I'll tell you what, when we go to chamber meetings, I listen to all the business people talk about all the good plans and things that they want to do for the city of Grafton. It makes me want to move here, it makes me want to invest money here. Seems like since July, I've been coming to town board meetings, and I've been so frustrated by the time I leave here, I've been to get the day after out of town and not come back. We bought a lot up top of the hill. Tuesday night before we closed on that lot on Clinton Street, we asked the town board to supply us with a sewer line. They voted on it, they passed it, they said they would. It's already now March, we still have not got a sewer line. We've got a sewer line that's exposed, it's a city sewer line. Everybody's pretty well in contention that it is not in compliance with the EPA. Been promised to have it fixed. We had Juno Engineering Company have different designs for it. I think there's a design that's good. We have Chad Prokraki, which he also owns some lots up there he wants to develop along with myself. There's also another house, there's two houses that are connected to the sewer line that they've had problems with. I would like to hear the town proceed with construction to put the sewer line in. I was up on my lot today cutting lawn. We have the building permit there. Bruce Rickenhauser says everything is ready to go. We'd like to start construction. We're a year behind from where we wanted to be. I would appreciate a little positive support from the board to get started with the construction of the sewer line. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Who's that on? Jerry Allen.
Need somebody else on there.
Okay. I got a couple things before I start on what I really, on my main thing. There are a couple things I'd like to see about getting fixed. I asked about that street light in front of the Crazy Beaver where I about run over that woman that night. That never got fixed. And the sidewalk, where the sidewalk comes up from the parking lot, there's like 3 bushels acorns on that thing. It's just, there are people walking all over this country looking for something like that so they can fall down through the city. That needs to be cleaned.
Okay, where was that, Jerry, again?
Huh?
What was the last one? You said there's what?
Where's it at?
There are people walking all over this country looking for something like that.
Where's the location?
Where's it located?
It's the incline sidewalk coming up from the city parking lot.
I'll just look into that.
Okay, I got street light on our lots down in the back, and it's been bent since the 2008 flood, and I've inquired about getting it straightened up any number of times, and it's still crooked. I would like for somebody to straighten that up.
Is that the one that's the newer looking one down by
Yeah,
the marina?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we don't mind it being on our property, but it's been bent now for 6 years. It looks like somebody could just take a truck or something and pull it back. I would do it myself, but I know it'd snap off and I'd have to pay for it. And I was gonna bring up that drain on those west lots there behind the house, because it's not been draining right. But then the other day after we got that 2 inches of rain, none of them worked. So anyway, I would like to have that on the list to get that cleaned out. And the lots to the west of our house, the grade on not any of that is right. It doesn't drain water. And the tile underneath Harrison Street is stopped up. And on the other side, in front of Pat Wilkie's house, that all needs to be redone. The big drain at the end of that block, you got a 20-inch drain going down, and it drains under the alley. And on the other side, it's all mudded in. You only got a hole about this big for the water to come out of. So that needs to be fixed.
Our maintenance people are working on Jerry on the aftermath of.
Yeah, well, I understand that they can't fix that grade until it's dry, but it needs to be fixed.
All right, thank you.
Okay, now, I came to every one of these meetings for 3 years and complained about the marina and that building and stuff down there. And I don't think that probably the people at the time knew what I was talking about. But I got all new players now, so I'm going to explain what happened with that marina. When they built the marina, soon I had to sign off on the paperwork for them to build that marina. We didn't sign off on their plans. There was no marina. It's only there because we signed their paperwork. Then it was what we looked at. Everything, it was all supposed to have 4 catch basins at 427 to drain the water that went out into the marina. And everything on the west side of our lots was supposed to be a parking lot for trailers and people that brought their boats and stuff to the marina. On the east side, on the plans we signed off on, everything from our lots to Mulberry Street is where the original city parking lot was. It was supposed to have been restored to the original city parking lot. And then they came up with a shed and a junkyard and all that other stuff. And nobody ever came and asked us if that was okay. We just had to come here and bitch about it. And they just ignored us. But none of that stuff should be there, and it shouldn't have been there without our permission. Because if they were going to change the plans that we signed on to start with, they should have had our permission to put that stuff over there. And they did not do that. And the thing that worries me the most is that all that junk, we have FEMA infractions here in town, including that junkyard down there in the thing. And I'm afraid that Paul Osmond stood right here and he said, our city lots, our FEMA lots are supposed to look like parks. Well, apparently they're okay to look like parking lots or mowed grass areas. There's not supposed to be a whole bunch of other stuff on them. And I'm afraid that the city is going to lose their FEMA insurance. And when that's gone, this town is just dead. I don't know if you've ever read the horror stories on the internet about towns that have lost their FEMA insurance, but it's dead. You can't buy a house, you can't sell a house, you can't get a loan against your mortgage to remodel. You can't do anything after it's gone. And if you have a tornado here, you're not going to get any government help. If you have an earthquake, you're not going to get any government help. You're just done. They wash your hands of you and it's all over. And I understand that Paul is coming back in a couple weeks and he's supposed to go around town with Bruce Wickenhauser. And when he does that, I want Flo to be with him. She's in charge of these lots. She should be with him. I think it's just too one-sided the other way. And whenever Wickenhauser was here the other day, he said, I work for the mayor. Well, the mayor's paying him with taxpayer money, and I think that any report that comes in that he does, anything, goes to this council. And I don't think it should be any other way. It's just not right. Everybody has too much at stake. I want the collective minds of everybody in this room. And as far as the marina, the only thing that this council has to agree on that mess down there is how long he's got to get it cleaned off. He's been a terrible steward of the land. It's just a mess down there. I mean, they would throw him out of Otterville, for Christ's sake. You just can't have that kind of stuff. It's just, it makes absolutely no sense that that's all down there like that. But there's no reason that he should be entitled to a lease or on anything else on property that belongs to this city. And I think that there's a serious enough violation just on what he's got there to have us thrown out of FEMA. And you need to investigate it.
Jerry? Reports that Bruce does, they come to the council. It's not some file item.
Okay, well, he stood right here and said he worked for you, just like you were his boss and you were the only one he worked for.
No, he works for the city.
Okay, well, that's fine.
But let me explain something. I went down after the last meeting. In fact, I met with Mr. Sherwood. Said, I want you to drive. I'll jump in your truck and you drive me around. I want you to show me what you're talking about. There's 3 trailers, as far as I can remember. There's 3 trailers there and some pipes he uses for dredging, and there were a couple other things.
There's a white Ford truck and his van and a bunch of pipe.
But
that's just on the stuff that he never ever had a lease on at all. That's on city park.
I want with Jared to let me explain. I did get in his truck and say, let's drive around, because my question has always been, okay, where can you put the material that he needs to, say, run a business?
Okay, well, wait.
No, Jerry,
that's not, wait a minute. He built that business. He didn't have that in his plan. That's not my problem, and it's not your problem. He can put that down there in his yard if he wants to. It'll fit.
Well, we looked at the far end of the marina. I also took Bruce Wickenhauser down there. In fact, we were down there today. We didn't talk to anybody. There was nobody there. But I said, Bruce, why couldn't this material, and again, I don't know who owns the lots right at the end flow where the big rock dike is, or well, no. Well, there's some lots down there before you.
There
are 10 lots that were small. They were like for trailers or something. And they're located right in front of the slip for the big boats.
Well,
you're not going to get him stack jump on that.
All I'm saying is we looked down there and I told Bruce, the owners were not there, that you need to go back to them and suggest, is there a place that the marina owns or has down here where they could move the pipes and the trailers?
What about the building and the shed,
well,
fence and all that stuff?
We'll have to look into that, because according to the owner, the building is in the original PUD.
No, sir, it is absolutely not. They may have changed the plan. I don't doubt that they did that. But soon I should have had some say-so on whether they built that rat breeding area next to our house before they put that in there.
We will look into that, into the PUD, to see, but that's what I've been told.
I think you're going to see a doctored up version, because I can tell you for sure it wasn't on the original thing that Sue and I signed off on.
And we will look into that.
It was not there.
I can't comment because it was before my time in office, but I will look into it, I promise you.
Okay, well, I still don't think that he gets any lease down or adopt a lot or anything down there. I can't believe that we had that mess in the middle of town. I mean, it's a horrible eyesore. I'm tired of looking at it. We tried to sell our house for 2 years. People would walk out on that back porch and look and go, was the city gonna clean that up? And we'll say, well, we're working on it, and you never heard from them again. And I don't blame them. If you know anything about the river, you just figure that that's a rat breeding area, besides looking like a junkyard.
I will assure you, I've already, since the last time you spoke, been down there, and I've also talked to, Bruce and I were there today, and we're not disagreeing with anyone that it should be moved. We were looking for a place where that material, 3 trailers and the pipes and whatever else is there, can be moved from that area to another area down further in the road.
Okay, well, when you look around there, you look for infractions of the rules, because I'm telling you, they're there. I mean, serious infractions.
Well, thank you.
Since Bruce was down there today, is he gonna give a report on what he discussed?
He didn't get to talk to him, Jerry, and I felt that he should talk to Joe and say, we need a solution. What's your solution? And then give us a
He needs
report.
to give us a report.
And he will do that, yes. Okay, who are we in today? Judy Potler.
Hi, thank you for this time. I am Judy Potler. I am an owner of a unit up in Timber Ridge condos, up on Timber Ridge Drive, that begins at the end of Mulberry Street. And I'm here to speak to the need for a solid white or yellow line for the full length of Mulberry Street. I have concerns regarding several safety issues that I've experienced and observed, especially the blind spots on Mulberry that affect traffic both going up and coming down the road. The blind spots are actually at the rise of the hill, which many of us who've driven it back and forth for a while know they're there. I do recall several years ago, there was a solid line that started at Main and went up over the rise. And I believe it kind of deconstructed with weather because we had some really bad winters there for a while, but it was not replaced. I did talk to my alderwoman, shared my concerns with her several months ago, and was informed that it would be looked into. Sad to say, the resulting efforts came and went within about a day. I'd like to know if the city, or what is the city's plan to resolve this issue to safety, and when might the plan be completed. I'm hoping the city would not wait until a bad accident, serious injury, or death would occur before taking action. There is a need to make it known that Mulberry is essentially a 2-lane road through the use of a solid line, especially after my experience of nearly being involved in a wreck as I went down the road. I was going down the road on the right with a delivery truck coming up on the left, appropriately on both sides. Either we were on our correct sides. Then, to my surprise, a car following the truck suddenly came out from behind it, drove forward up the hill to pass the truck with me coming down. I, thank goodness, did put my brakes on. So, no accident. But it would have been a beauty. Also, the hill's blind spot affect the traffic in both directions. It seems that many people get the idea that it's a free-for-all, single-laner. And as you're coming up the rise, you don't have a view of who's coming down, and vice versa. So as you get up the rise, you can be, and have been, surprised by a car coming straight at you. And this could happen in either direction. I just want to recommend that the city look at this again, please. I'm very concerned about safety, and I believe it really should be denoted as a 2-lane road as much as possible with a solid line going up from the beginning from Main to its end at Mulberry. I thank you.
Thank you. We did have, maybe you can help me out. I remember we had yellow line going up there. It wasn't solid, it was crooked.
It was white.
Yeah.
I know.
And so we had to pull it out, and it was on their agenda. We've had some shift in the maintenance department, but you'll have to get with that. You do need to share that.
Could we get a recommendation from the Chief Sullivan to that? If he would give us a recommendation in writing, I think it would help us a little bit as we move forward.
Right.
Because I think we're all in agreement, but it would be nice if we had some documentation.
Do you want me to push on him?
Well,
We can get that, because I talked to Chris about it, I don't want to put any blame on him.
No, no blame.
But the yellow line up Mulberry, we tried to get that accomplished, and I don't know, it was crooked, Jerry, I know you were.
is it your recommendation, based upon your experience, since you're familiar with that it needs to have a yellow line?
It is, and I did a traffic study on it, and I think you guys got that a year ago. Yes, I don't think that it requires a yellow line, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with a yellow line, so you can put one in there. If it's in there, it just has to be measured right from left to right, because depending on where you're at, you need to make sure that it remains in the middle of the access, and I actually measured that, and I can get a copy of that for the guys in front of the books.
They won't-
Do you do that with yellow marking tape, or is it painted on there? How's that done?
Well, they can do it either way. It should probably be painted on there just like you would paint a center. Like you would paint a center line.
Tom,
This
if you guys are paying for paint, I've got a machine to paint. And I would charge the paint if you'll pay for the paint. But we want this bad, what I'd like to see done is I'd like to see a yellow line down the middle and moving over 12 feet and put white lines on both sides so that, it can just, our buses going up and down so that folks know that that's the area that they got to stay out.
I think where the difficulty comes in a lot, and what they've complained about is, there are a couple places that hill's very steep, but it's not on the same grade all the way down. And as you change grades coming from a relatively lower grade, although still steep, to a very steep grade, you can't always see the oncoming traffic coming in either direction over that one particular hump up at the top of the hill. If you're going to stripe it, it should be striped from the base of the hill up at least until you get past Washington Street there. It should be striped through the
I think
center.
it should go all the way to Timber Ridge.
And it could. There's no reason that it can't, but you just have to be careful where that line goes, that it remains where you have a full legal traffic lane on either side, and I've measured that already, so we can do that.
We
I have
can,
a question. Is there enough right of way down at the bottom to park on both sides of the road?
In fact, there's nowhere on that road where it's wide enough to have parking on both sides.
Exactly, yeah.
You can put parking on the right side, or the west side, you can park, if there's enough space there, all of it, for vehicles on the park on that, there's plenty of space for parking there. But in fact, there's very few streets in town that are legally wide enough to have parking on both sides. You can put a traffic lane on either side and then you put parking right there. So, that's difficult to do anywhere in town.
I had Silvano Wade Marchand, a professional traffic study done on Mulberry Street, and they suggested that there is adequate room going up the hill to have parking on Mulberry Street on the west side.
No, I just agreed with you. I just said that. I measured it, did it, and it is wide enough there. It's wide enough to have two traffic lanes and one parking lane, but at no point is it wide enough to have two traffic lanes and two parking lanes.
Like they said, they suggested one lane of parking and 2 lanes of, and they also suggested that the town be tended to get the people from just a 2 lane without parking all the way up Mulberry Street, but just parking constantly where
Yeah, and I think that's indicated in my traffic study. You can only park where it's wide enough. The traffic lane has to shift as you get towards the top, because the roadway, if you watch it, the actual roadway is narrower as you get to the top, and there's a couple of points where it's just barely wide enough to have 2 lanes of traffic there. There should be no parking on either side of it.
I have the traffic study now, pass it on to you. We'd like to keep the parking spots for the winery, which they don't use it very often, but they do use it occasionally.
I think we'll coincide. We probably found the same measurements they did, so I'll be happy to look at it.
okay, then I'll, Gary,
I apologize, I don't remember the traffic study that you did. You probably gave it to me and I just filed.
Yeah, I gave it to the council.
But if you could resubmit that at our next council meeting with a recommendation of what you think needs to be done.
I will, and I'll take a copy of his too.
Thank you very much.
We'll get on top of that. Thank you. Now we'll have the treasurer's report. Council approval of the treasurer's report, March 2015.
Beginning cash was $438,858.42. Revenue was $123,530.05. Expenses was $101,334.06, leaving a beginning cash balance of $461,054.41. Ask you to approve that and to approve the bills, to pay the bills on page 27 through 29, 31, 33, 35, 37, 39, 40, and 41. I think that's all of them.
So moved.
Second.
And is that for both the approval of the treasurer's report and the approval of the payment invoices? Thank you. Alderman Vick?
Yes.
Alderman Raleigh?
Yes.
Alderman Marsax?
Yes.
Alderman Lindemeyer?
Yes.
Alderman Lambert?
Yes.
Alderman Carey?
Yes.
The treasurer's report and the payment of invoices is approved.
Thank you.
Do not have a zoning board planning report tonight. The city engineer report, Charlie Juno will be here at the meeting on the 28th, I believe, but he did send a report up for the council. And if there are any questions, it deals with the wetlands nature trail. That has already been approved, the bike trail project. I do not believe that he has met with IDOT, but it's our recommendation that after the listening to the public, that it will go through the original, but it seems to be the majority of people wanted it to go. And then he's proceeding with the design and the IEPA permit for a project for Clean Street Sewer, Daggett Hollow Culvert. He's downloaded property line information. No record of a public road has been found yet. I talked to Charlie today about some of these issues, and he is still working on getting that information before he proceeds, or the city proceeds with that. Sycamore Street stone culvert. That's a culvert where the creek runs through. And I'll tell you another spot, because I hit it with the rear end of my car going down behind all of the Reedies. That's 2nd Street, I believe. And that culvert has sunk, or the whistle has sunk, so that we need to either put a new whistle in or do something there, because I even know it's there and slowed down enough, and I still hit bottom, so that's because it has sunk, and we need to get that worked on. That's on our TIF project list. But Charlie will be here next week to go over these issues point by point in detail with the council.
Is it possible for him sometime to come back and do a review of our storm sewers? I realized the storm we had last week was an unusual storm.
Right.
Like most of you know, we had some real serious problems around town. And I think it would be a good idea if he could review those storm sewers and try to determine what needs to be done to at least try to alleviate some of the problems. Is that possible?
I agree, absolutely. And I'll tell you, the one that goes into the marina comes down Ballberry. We've already been told, in fact, I think I've already told this story, before I could even move anything into my office, there was a phone call from the state's attorney and told me that there was some court case where they said the city had to put a stormwater drain in there from the, I mean, it was so forceful this time, it lifted a big solid rock slab right off the ground down there. So I was, again, I left a message for Charlie that he needs to bring that to the council, because I'm surprised Madigan hasn't called us again and complained, but she was.
Can he do that before the next council meeting? I realize it's a short amount of time, but it would be nice.
I sure will. He should have all that information, Jerry, because that's been, and say, well, why wasn't it done? We kept, or Charlie was getting approval not to proceed with that because we weren't sure where the bike trail was going. But now that we have a fairly good idea where the bike trail is going, we need to get that whistle in, or get that pipe to drain, and it'll drain into the creek now by all streets, because it's.
We also need to look at Grafton Hills Drive, and there are several places.
Oh,
in town.
absolutely, yeah.
We just need to start doing a study and making recommendations for us.
I can call them first thing in the morning. Let them know what the request is. That's all.
Yeah. And then we have the zoning map consultants, that's included, and we'll proceed with that. I'm not sure at what point, it's just that he gave you a list of people there, and that will be up to the council to approve or select someone. I think there was Keith Moran, you have him in front of you, and PGAB, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, Art Curris, Olive Street in St. Louis. So those are the three that he is. Is there another one? Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Thomas Wolby, Belleville. So those will all come before the council, and somehow, whether it's, I assume it would be when we swear in the new council, that they will select someone from that group to let that be.
About a meeting ago, the council deferred that decision until the new alderman is.
Okay, that's fine. Department committee reports. I'll make mine brief. I'd like to also congratulate those who were elected the last election, both elected to the council and the city treasurer. On May the 12th, Roger Crone, 1st Ward, Steve Hayes, 2nd Ward, and Sarah Carey, 3rd Ward, and Bob Smith, treasurer, will all be sworn in and take their place on May the 12th. We'll have a brief meeting of the council that's going to be leaving us, and then we will have another meeting following that to swear in the new council, and they will take those positions on May the 12th.
Is there any reason why they could not be sworn in for next meeting?
I believe you have in your city code, I'm not certain. Part of the problem is I don't know if the county has finished the canvass of the vote.
They will be certified on the 21st. And state law says you do it at the next regular meeting.
I believe our city code has defined that, but I think to double check as soon as I can grab a book.
Could you look into that, Jim? I mean, traditionally, it's always been.
I'll give you a copy of it, just a little. Basically, it says only if the mayor is going to appoint someone who was not, I mean, no one ran for that election, he appoints them the first meeting in May.
Is that in our city code? Okay.
But it does not refer to newly elected. That's pretty well covered by state law.
I will be, again, I'll be surprised, but again, I don't have your code memorized, but generally it's defined in your code when the new officers take place.
So you'll look into that?
Sure.
So we can, okay, thank you. You should have got a letter from Good Energy. Mine's here. Did everybody get this letter? And I think, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time talking about it, but if you wanna opt out, you don't wanna save money on your electric bill, get the option for that. So make sure you read that literature. We had a power outage today, and still call Ameren if you have a problem, you call Ameren. Your bill comes from Ameren. It's just the supplier of the electricity. The first year savings is going to be minimal, but with all of the new EPA laws and coming down on fossil fuels and those issues, the experts say there's supposed to be a significant hike in electricity rates. So our rate will stay the same through this contract. Those rates can't go up. That's the good news. I did leave 2 phone messages, and Emily sent an email to Paul Osmond. I don't know why I have May as the time that he's going to come, but he knows that he's to come. And Flo, I'll make sure that you're given ample notice when he's coming to go with him and Bruce Wickenhouse to the city. But I don't have a date tonight. But we did send him another email, and I know he's, you know, with cutting back in staff, he warned us that sometimes they're just short on help, and he's covers the whole state. So, but as soon as we get that from Paul, I will pass that information on to the board or Bruce Wickenhouse. I don't know how many of you get the AAA Midwest Traveler. There was a great article about our area in the Midwest Traveler. And they talked about Pierre Marquette Park and the history and how it was built. And then they said east of the park are several small towns with big appeal. Stop first at Grafton, which was once one of the largest freshwater fishing ports on the Mississippi River, home to mills and wharfs in the early 1800s. The town now features specialty shops, antique stores, restaurants, wineries, and then they go on to talk about Elsa, etc. So I thought that was some good PR, widely read magazine, and we certainly need that kind of promotion. It's also come to my attention that Bob Crossan is now the editor of the journal. Is that correct, Bob? Well, congratulations.
Probably not. We're working on hiring someone.
You do such a good job.
Well, thank you.
So you're still going to be a reporter?
Oh, won't be report as much as I do now.
Oh, you're...
Yeah, we're working on hiring someone.
Okay, no, I just... Okay, thank you.
Just kidding, little
Just kidding.
Okay, we'll move on. Public Service Comprehensive Plan, Personnel, Joe Carey.
Yeah, Tom, I got a all done report. I went over there and did some measuring. I think we have ample room for a 14 by 12 concrete block building at the all done for storage. I'd like to see that get put out for bids or see if I get somebody to do it.
We'll put it on our gift. But one of the things is, Joe, don't misinterpret what I'm going to say if you're against it, though. But I need Paul Osmond to look at that since it's going to be a permanent building.
Right, he'd like to be a floater. Right.
Yeah,
I've already
so
Right.
we'll, when he comes down, we'll have him look at that. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah. I figured we got that lead. I have a floater anyway.
You know, we kept talking about the marble space.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll have Paul Osmond look at that and make sure.
Right.
Yeah. That's next.
And then the dugout roofs need bad repair. Right on that.
Yeah, could you get the signs put up for the people who dedicated?
There's 2 signs in the
Yeah,
back there that,
was kind of waiting for it all done. We'll put them, but I think
there's, I saw that.
Yeah, I have two, I see them.
right where the old wooden building was, there's room right there.
By the highway.
by the highway. We could put a building right there, you know, put a nice big door on for storing lock and stuff, and, well, I was gonna wait to hear from that, because that was supposed to be voluntarily built for free, but I haven't heard no more from, GRP, so I'm still hoping they're gonna do it.
We do need to get those roofs on that, just look, not only is
Yeah, I mean,
raining, but
I
it
know
looks
it, I
bad.
know it was done for free. I mean, GRP did all that, and they probably used cheap material for that stuff, but it looks bad, and I would like to, get somebody, give us a bid for repairing those roofs.
We could, shouldn't be a problem to do it locally without
Right.
some contractor.
We
And
need,
it
we
probably
need
wouldn't
to,
need to be a bid, just a price quote, but why don't we go ahead and have somebody give us a price quote on it?
right.
What about that building too? Can we go ahead and have somebody give us a price quote on that? Do you have a diagram or can you explain?
Nah,
it?
it just be a 14 by 12 concrete block building. You know, with some
Well, it
blocks
shouldn't have to
right
be bid out, but if we go ahead and get a price quote, we'll at least have an estimate of how much it's gonna cost.
Right.
And have that go
Right.
back at the next
Right,
meeting.
you know, I'd like to see a nice shingle roof on it, you know, a nice steel door where it can be vandalized.
Can Joe go ahead and meet with somebody and get something? together?
Somebody that, like a block layer or.
Well, somebody can construct the whole building,
Right.
and,
How about a metal roof?
Oh, that would work on the building, yeah. I'd like to get this going because,
we have some teams that are scheduled.
oh yeah, my son, he got on me Sunday, he said, there would be, there's 4 or 5 teams right now would play every game there if the diamond was ready. But the outfield's a mess, it's full of holes, somebody would get hurt. I'm trying to think how we can do that, like, does it need disc up to correct this problem real quick, or, you know, I bought that drag, but
It's not,
it'd take it forever, well, it's got that, it's like a arrow, but it'd take forever and a day to do it. I mean, I think I'm not, start going over there just doing it myself, I'm kind of occupied with other things
the
right
thing
now.
is, that we road and tiller all of it up, then you won't have any grass in summer. There's a way to-
Well, it's just the holes, I'm afraid some kids can turn an
Right.
ankle.
Is it possible just?
It happened in the flood, I think the carp got in there and fanned out these holes, you know, they're everywhere.
Complain. But isn't it, I'm just asking, I walked down there too, Joe, and I saw it.
Right.
Is it
But I've been
possible
dragging
to
it.
repair it and not, that we could use it this year?
Oh, they're practicing on it now, I go there,
Okay,
but
maybe.
I know we're kind of slight on the maintenance guys, but the infield needs sprayed, and I got my own stuff, sprayer and a 4-wheeler, I can spray the grass on the infield, but I've been going over once a week and dragging the diamond to keep it in shape for the guys practicing, and the guys was good enough to let me use it for boating, so I don't have to tear up my own stuff, but,
That's fine.
well,
Well, we'll do whatever we need. Again, we're overloaded right now.
oh, I know,
because of the cleanup.
so I'm trying to just do that.
And, but
We just
I-
need to get on this because, you know, Andy said that he guarantees there would be 4 or 5 teams use that for their games. They're wanting to. And I just talked to Bobby about, we have a ball diamond fund, about $4,000, excuse me, that I'm gonna go ahead and order an outfield fence that can be taken down after the ball season every year. We're gonna pay for that out of this fund. And I'm gonna order it this week, hopefully. Just so the teams that wanna play, but they're using it now, they're practicing 2 or 3 nights.
Right,
a
I
week
saw
over
kids
there.
down. I'm just trying to figure a way to do the outfield without tearing it all up and
Well, I
starting
think
over.
we could harrow it or something, and then back and forth, and I'm gonna go give it a shot, I mean, don't cost nothing, but I'd really like to see it be utilized.
Gotta have grass up there.
And the last thing, and I'll shut up, we need a porta potty over there bad. I had complaints on that from some teams, there was no restroom.
I think we can just, make a note, we'll just order one.
Joyce said she could call them tomorrow, and get
Just
one.
call them our Joyce. We put one over there years back.
Yeah, well, we just didn't this year yet, but, I've had complaints, there's no place
So
for
let's
kids
get
to.
that done.
That single hole with the water in it is still there. Is that a spring, do you think, or what do you think
I
causes
just
it?
think it's a low place in the town.
So should we go rock it?
Are you talking the parking area near the
Yeah.
road? We just need to get some.
Yeah, I think
Three-quarter-inch gravel.
it's just a low spot, yes.
We could take all that rock out of the creek by the bridge.
I don't know if we're allowed.
I would rather use CH6, that'd be more.
Yeah.
The
Don't
creek
think
gravel
so.
would be dangerous, so.
By the bridge.
But porta potty and that would be it.
And we'll get gravel in there, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Yes, Jim?
I was going to, you kind of looked at me earlier, I was going to offer the suggestion, I think there's nothing wrong with Joe if he's willing to go pursue these proposals, but you also probably want to put that on your agenda so that action could be taken in response to the proposals at your next meeting. And I think there were two things, the dugouts and
Roofs, dugouts, roofs, and the,
so I would recommend two things be placed on the agenda at the next meeting.
Yeah, the building, Joe, if we can get, we really need Paul Osmond to approve.
Oh, I know.
Before we.
Yeah, it's gonna have to
get a
be,
proposal, but
If you do a drawing of the building, however, and give it to Bruce Wickenheiser, we should be able to check with Paul Osmond to make sure that it's in compliance.
right.
Because you will still have to get a building permit, even though it's a city, you still have to get a building permit.
Well, when you're on your merry-go-round, get me up and I'll show you what I mean.
Right, can I ask Joe a question?
Yeah.
Do you ever think about, instead of you working your rear off over there all the time, getting all of the parents and all the kids and having a work day?
Oh, I,
I mean, I see you guys doing it.
Yeah.
But the 5 teams, kids in the rakes, that's what we used to do years ago.
oh, I know.
Take care of our own stuff.
But it just seems like, everybody's busy when you try to suggest something.
If they want to play it, they'll fix it.
Right.
Well, Joe, you'll just go
Good
ahead
thought.
with what we talked about. Part, you'll go ahead with that. Let's get-
Yeah, I'll try to get
Okay.
something started on it.
That's fine. Park Development, Chamber of Commerce Liaison, Flo Rollins.
The Girl Scouts called me, and I met them down at the Girl Scout Park. They're all excited about their plans to put sidewalks in that little park. And they want to open up the back wall there where
Right.
the
Mural.
house alley is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
well, it's just down
Okay.
where there's some rock there, and it looks like it's a fairly easy job, because then we can come up Schoolhouse Alley with the concrete truck and pour concrete. They want to trim some trees, and actually, they don't want us to do things for them because they want to teach the girls how to use all this equipment. They're all excited about doing it, and I went home and I thought, wow, can we do that? Because that's a buyout lot. So I called Paul Osmond today, and he checked with his boss, and they're gonna let them put concrete on that lot. It's higher than the average buyout lot.
Okay.
So they're off and running with their project and real excited about it. And they've given me some figures. They're going to build some picnic tables like the ones you got. They're gonna use them for a pattern so the girls can learn to cut lumber and build picnic tables. And they're going to give me a receipt for the lumber for that, and I will turn that in, and that's how they get the money. And it probably will cost, they say, $1,250 from the city, but I have a feeling it'll be more like $2,000, I guess, when they're talking concrete.
Are they also gonna repaint that mural?
Yes, they're gonna repaint, well,
That's
not the
good.
mural, I don't know what they're gonna do behind it, but they're gonna have all the past Girl Scouts put their handprints
Oh, okay.
and names, and
Good.
so I don't know what'll be behind it. They have a professional concrete person working with them to teach them all about doing this concrete forms.
Right.
Can you lay blocks?
They're, I don't know, maybe, you know what it is, it's Carol Coleman's husband.
Excuse
Tom,
me, does this need approval at the next council meeting? When we referred it to Parks Committee for their recommendation.
Okay, do we need to approve something? This is a Girl Scout project. This is
But they're
their
wanting
silver
money from the
project.
city.
Maybe I need to ask for, okay, at the next council meeting, I will.
Just vote on it.
Yeah, I will ask for a set amount of money then. They had planned on doing receipts.
I just know that the last time, it said we referred to Parks Committee for their recommendation to council for the expenditure. And so I'll put it on the next agenda that we'll have your Parks Committee recommendation to be voted on. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, I can come up with a set amount of money, too. That might be better.
Well,
Okay.
a suggestion, it might be that reimbursement not to exceed $2,000. And then whatever it is,
That's
it
what I
is.
think, yeah. Because they wanted to bring me receipts
Right.
and.
You can reimburse them as the receipts come in.
This is also a thing, it's a silver merit badge they're getting, and they even want to do projects to raise money to pay for some of this. They're little workers.
Yeah, they've done a lot for Grafton over the years. Is there anything else?
That's all I have tonight.
Next item, council approval of City of Grafton adopt a lot agreement. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm certainly wrong. Excuse me. You must be in a hurry to get through this. I looked down. Now next is Pam Vick, Public Relations, Public Property.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Could I have a little bit of your time? Grafton's Historical Society and Chautauqua's Historical Society and the Elsa Foundation, as you know, been involved in a 2-year project to produce as close as possible replica of the coffin that carried Lincoln's body from Washington DC to Springfield. And it's appropriate that it's today. Today is the 150th anniversary of the day that Lincoln was shot. He died on the 15th. He laid in state in the White House, then at the Capitol, and then was put on a train and took a very circuitous route to Springfield. And so last Thursday, the committee, the 3 historical societies unveiled what we believe is the most historically accurate coffin, a Lincoln coffin. And it will be part of the 150th reenactment of the Lincoln funeral in Springfield on May 2nd and 3rd. So I would encourage any of you that sounds interesting, go up to Springfield. The coffin will arrive on the train on the 2nd. It will be taken off the train the morning of the 3rd, or on the 1st and the 2nd. And the night of the 2nd, it will be on display for a candlelight vigil overnight. Will then be put on a replica of the hearse that is an incredible story in itself, and go to Oak Ridge Cemetery. So our casket will be part of the commemoration for Lincoln's death. So I think it's going to be very exciting. I hope you all would consider going up there. Thank you for your time.
Public Safety Health Comprehensive Plan Review, TIF, Charlie Lindemeyer.
No report.
Personnel Comprehensive Plan, Bobby Amber.
I have a note from Tom Wright. He said there were 796 visitors and 20 phone calls for the month of March at the visitor center. And he said that covers just 30 days because they were closed on Easter. That's not too bad.
Very good.
And we're going to have a visitor center meeting tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, 9:30.
9:30?
They're always 9:30.
9:30. I better mark that
Before you get there, Mother.
down. Yeah.
Do you have anything?
No, that's it.
No. Maintenance sewer, water parks about Jerry Bowerstack.
Well, I've already mentioned about the storm sewer problem, and Charlie Jr. will be looking at that.
Right.
We still need to complete an inspection of the playground equipment, the sidewalks through town. But I don't know when we're going to do that, so we just need to be thinking about that. And I was also wondering if somebody at one time, and maybe I'll check with Chris about this, emergency weather notification. How do we do that here in Grafton? Do we have sirens?
No.
We have.
They have the phone call.
Supposed to be full call.
I'll talk to Chris a little bit.
Sirens on the police car.
That's all.
You guys hired, it's just, at that time, it was very expensive, we decided to pass on that, so we've got information.
Okay, I'll talk to Chris, I'm sure we will. That's all, thank you.
Please have a report, I believe you have it in front of you, that Chris gave us. Now we'll move down to old business, Daggett Hollow drainage. I mentioned that you have that in your report. Charlie Juneau is still looking at ownership of certain areas there that he has to have before he proceeds with any recommendations. Can't go any further than that, but to tell you he is working on that issue and will report back to the council, and he's going to be at the meeting, the next council meeting. So hopefully he'll have some information at that time. Oh, Chris, please report. I didn't see you back there.
I gave copies to all of them.
Right.
But at the same time, it just tells the rest of the traffic stops and things that were made.
Okay.
And it just points out a couple of things that are ongoing, one of which I think would be most important to everybody is that public bathrooms, in addition to City Hall, I think is mentioned in there. We had another pay meeting with the contractor and the architect, the engineer that was involved in it. Went over the progress of the building. The engineer believes the architect, because the contractor is at about 50% point, at least as far as everything that cost-wise, they have purchased everything that's going to go into the facilities, all the toilets, the HVAC and all that. Instead of storing it on site, because we don't have room in the garage for it, we didn't want to leave it outside where it would just be open to whoever wanted to walk around. It was stored on site. The slabs have all been poured, the site work underneath was done. The rest of the construction is underway. The plumbing has been done, sewer and so forth.
Thank you. Yeah, traffic study parking lot for Sullivan.
We have done very little so far except talk. I think that was discussed at the most recent council meeting. I have talked with Charlie Juneau, and we are in the process of beginning a study of all the parking lots. They'll all have to be measured and have to be determined which ones belong to who, exactly what the sizes are, where the entrance and exits are. It's going to take some period of time. We're trying to expedite that. We have on the 22nd, Charlie will be here to begin that process. And in the meantime, we're exchanging information. I've obtained maps from the city that list who owns every plot of property, which ones are buyout, which ones are city-owned, and which ones are privately owned throughout all of Grafton.
And Joe, we've already discussed these. And now we'll move to new business. Council approval of a special event permit for Two Rivers Rally on May the 23rd to the 25th. And I believe that we have that permit, or they secured the permit, and we just need a motion to approve.
Tom, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm all in favor of the Christian bikers, don't get me wrong, but I have an issue with it. Are they still on the 15 ban?
They're here tonight, I don't know. Good evening.
You had a question, sir?
Yeah, we have a problem in this town with the outside music. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for bikers. Some of my best friends are Harley riders.
Okay.
I'm all for your Christian bike, list of bike things. But I really have an issue with 15 bands playing till 10 o'clock at night. I mean, out of respect for the residents of the city.
And the last meeting, we said if you guys set a time limit to where it's 6 o'clock, it'll start at 6.
Stop at 6.
We've had live music before, and we haven't had an incident, so.
Well, I'm just saying, right,
And we don't want to be
I don't want my phone ringing off the hook because, you know, you cannot invade people's privacy, you know?
Sure.
I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, I'm all in favor of the courtesy bikers. It's that issue there.
Right. So maybe we can come up with some kind you're willing to compromise in terms of the length of time that it's
Sure.
that.
You know, it's whatever the city ordinance is and what they feel is reasonable. We want to abide every law that there is.
Right.
So, and we don't want to disturb anybody's residence or anything. I would not.
I was like, you know, you talking maybe 6
How
o'clock?
many bands play on Saturday from 10 to 10, would you say?
I think I have 6 to 7 scheduled on Saturday.
And then on Sunday?
No. Yeah.
The way everybody's talking, it sounds like they're all playing at the same time.
Yes. Actually, I called the city hall before we ever scheduled the bands to find out what the time frame was when we had to shut the music down. That's why we scheduled them the way that we did. I started scheduling bands last year at the rally because if you have them there, you want to get on their schedule or you can't get them a lot of times.
Joe, would 7 o'clock be acceptable with you?
Probably no later. I don't want an issue to occur here with the residents.
Sure.
We've already got this bad problem now, and
Did you play last year? I mean, did you have
Yes.
bands last
Yes.
year?
Last 2 years.
Last 2 years. They had bands last 2 years.
I'm sure that probably everyone would be okay with the 7, you know. It's just, you know, I'm trying to look out for the residents.
No, we understand.
So can you
But
fit
I'm
your
all in
bands
favor.
in on a time frame?
Yes.
I live right across the street from them, Mel and I did it, 1309 West Main Street, and there were absolutely no problem. The bands played until 10 o'clock. We're not talking big amplifiers, you know, they're acoustic guitars or little drums. They could play until midnight. We would never have heard.
Thank you.
And all I'm saying, I know in the last 2 years you've been here, I have not, as the mayor, received any complaints about that
Thank you.
event or noise.
I'm just bringing up the experience, you know, it's
Yes.
like.
No, it's fine. We'll answer all questions.
Yes?
Is 10 o'clock late? How many people in this room stay up and watch the film? On Saturday night? What's wrong with 10 o'clock for music, for God's sake? That's what this town is all about. A block away. Yeah, that's what go enjoy it once. Get out of your house and go enjoy it. I listen to Loading Dock every weekend, I love it. My mom's 90 years old and she can't wait to come down and listen to Loading Dock's music. Now, I'm not saying it's old folks, it's young, it's old, it's whoever's driving. But 10 o'clock is not late. What about these other towns that have music till 2 and 3 in the morning? I mean, we're not gonna do that, I don't want that either. But 10 o'clock?
Yeah, very, third ward of Grafton, Allison, is old people.
But,
They're
well,
very concerned about
but.
it.
I'm an old person, and I don't think that's fair to take it upon the whole city because that side of town wants to drive about 10 o'clock music. 10 o'clock? Good God.
I'm opening up Third Street in Third Ward. What kind of problems am I gonna have?
That's.
I mean, are you trying to tell me I don't, well, if I wanna have music out back, or I can only play till 6 o'clock? I mean, are you the ones creating the issue in the town, or what? I mean, I don't know.
I listen to old problems. Like I said, don't get me wrong.
I mean, I can understand if they had a problem the last 2 years, I would say your complaint would be legitimate to maybe restrict it. If they have complaints the way it is, I think
Hey,
it's great.
back up a minute. I'm not complaining. I'm issuing a concern. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you go up there and start blaring music with loud band stuff, you will have a
I don't
problem.
intend on doing that, and they haven't done it
So
either.
no, wait a minute. Don't accuse me of accusing those folks of something. I'm just bringing my concerns up to the people that I represent. So don't steer this in another direction, okay?
Okay, let's get this back on track. Why don't we have the police will check if it's beyond what's reasonable or people are complaining, you would certainly shut the music down.
I represent my people, and
Right.
I gotta do what they ask.
I know, I was
It's
just trying
nothing
to
about
when
me.
they're trying to shut them down, I thought, what kind of problems I got?
Well, excuse me, this is getting
No,
off
let's
of the
let's
issue.
move on.
Excuse
That's
me,
right.
How about if?
I want to get it back on the issue. You said 10 o'clock. If it's loud so that people are calling Mr. Carey, and Joe usually let me know, we'll go down, the police will be there, and we'll tell them, hey, just tell the band to.
Or call me on the phone.
Okay. Now, let's get back on focus here. We need to vote to approve the,
We need a motion.
a
Tom, I just
motion
want to
to approve
ask
the
one more
permit.
question.
Okay.
For their time on Sunday. So what is it? It says Sunday 2 p.m. and then it says Monday, so I wasn't
No.
for sure what that meant.
Yeah, it's Saturday and Sunday is 10 to 10. Monday is 10 to 2. We always stop early on Monday because it's Memorial Day and a lot of the bikers live in different states, so they have to travel 5 to 10 hours to get home.
So it's a 3-day.
Yes, it's a 3-day event.
Okay,
Yes.
I wasn't
Yeah.
clear on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
on Monday, then your time is
10 to 2.
10 to 2.
Yes.
And Sunday morning at the 10 o'clock is actually biker church till noon.
Okay, so actually, maybe the music's from noon to 10.
Well, the evangelist he's a NASCAR evangelist and he does Nashville style music. He'll do his own
For the
praise and
church.
worship for the church service at 10 a.m. Probably play from 10 to maybe 11.
Is it
Preach
single,
for an
single
hour.
artist or a big band?
Just a single artist.
Single artist, okay.
Yes. He'll play for about an hour and then preach. And then there'll be someone else that sings a couple songs because he'll probably want to do an altar call and give people a chance if somebody wants to pray for it. It's church. You know, it's just biker church. You know, and bikers are people, so, you know, we're gonna have church and that's all it is. And then the regular music will start back up at noon.
Go ahead, Bob.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're gonna have a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that the council approve the Two Rivers Rally for the weekend of Memorial Day.
Second.
Alderman Beck?
I'm gonna vote yes like I did before, yes.
Alderman Raleigh?
Abstain.
Alderman Bauer Sacks?
Yes.
Alderman Lindemeyer?
Yes.
Alderman Amber?
Yes.
Alderman Carey?
I will say yes, with, as long as it's fine.
Try not to do too sad.
Thank you.
It's kind of nice to see that we're actually going to have a Christian event within the city of Grafton.
I don't want to take up a lot of time, but I want to say a few things if I might. One thing that we do have a question about is electricity, whether it's a temporary service, as far as getting in, we'd like to be able to get a temporary pole in, and, you know, we'll take care of that. That's not an issue with that. We're not expecting the city to foot the bill for anything like that, so we would like
I've
to.
asked a couple of contractors, and I'm being honest with you, since I didn't pursue it beyond that, does anyone have, you know, a lot of them have temporary pole, and you're gonna pay for the hookup and the electricity?
Yes.
So there'd be no expense to the city?
No.
We
No.
just need to see.
We just need approval.
Jeff, I asked you about one, do you have a temporary service pole?
My temporary service for all
Oh, that won't work. I'll keep asking around, to be
Okay.
honest.
And I'd like to thank the council for their time and for bringing us up. And, you know, when people say things, it's like ringing a bell. And once that bell's rung, it goes out. and we can't take it back. You know, many times, police people like to take things back perhaps, or be able to rethink things, hindsight being 20/20. But the people here, the aldermen, are looking out for the best of Grafton. Whether we may agree with them or not, you know, and everybody has bad days. And I've asked people before not to, you know, leave Flo alone. We all have feelings, and she's a person, and that's not what we're about. We're not about being mean-spirited or getting revenge or anything else. Flo's called and apologized, and, you know, as far as we are concerned, it's been water under the bridge, and we just want peace, and we want what's good for the city of Grafton.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think we all agree with that statement.
I might want to mention, when you put that electric service in, you probably need an engineer to spot it, because there's not transformers and 110 volts on every pole. You just can't go stick a meter pole in the yard. You got to call that in through engineering, and they'll tell you where you can put it.
Okay.
Unless you need a
Can you help us out, Steve, and at least give us the information?
I'll give you the 800 number.
That's what. No, we're not asking you to do it. When you say call engineering, if you have the number, we'll give that to them, okay? Have them call. Thank you. Next is council approval of the adopt-a-lot agreement. On page 12.
Did all of you read it and go over it? Did you have any changes that you wanted to make to it? Well, there's a couple things that, on page 12, I wanted to add, where it says administration and program, I wanted to add on the second line, it says, adopt-a-lot committee shall consist of 5 citizens to be appointed by the mayor with the advice and consent of the council. And I can leave it on my copy and give it to the secretary and have a new one typed if it's okay with you people. And then on page 13, number 3, it says must follow FEMA regulations for use of green space as established in regulation CFR 44 Part 8019, copy provided upon request, and we need to add City Code Chapter 14. And number 13, I'd like to put the word written. Place trash cans, receptacles on the lot without prior written approval of the adopt-a-lot committee.
I just do the middle one, what was that?
Wasn't the one in the City Code Chapter 14?
That's number 3?
Yes.
Sure.
And then down here on number 13, I'd like that in writing. And then payment should be by, on number 2, on page 14, payment should be by check or money order. And then I added number 5, Jim. I'd like to have, without written notification of number 1, adopt-a-lot agreement will automatically cancel.
Can you repeat that slow?
All right, give you this.
I think I got it.
Okay, without written notification, and then in brackets, number 1, adopt-a-lot agreement will automatically cancel. Because people, when they move away, don't call the city hall and tell them that they're not going to have an adopt-a-lot anymore. Those are just
I move for
little
approval as amended by Flo.
Just a minute, but I'll do it then. The one that you said, was it number 2, payment of $5 by check or money? Excuse me, Charlie.
Okay.
We need a second.
Mr. Mayor, I worked with Flo on that, and I think all of those suggestions are good ideas. I just want to point out, by changing it to with advice and consent of the mayor, you will be a public body and will have to comply with the Open Meetings Act.
It's, well, we have to comply with the Open Meetings Act anyway, but, advice,
Arguably,
it's advice
you clearly
and
do
consent
now.
of the council.
Yeah, you clearly will have to now. So that's fine. If you're already doing it, all good. All
Well,
good.
if we meet here, isn't that an open meeting?
Well, you'll have to work with Mary to post an agenda 48 hours in advance. You have to let the public speak. All those things like a normal committee meeting.
And get me the minutes.
And someone will have to take that.
Okay.
So we're voting with all those.
This is B, but as amended. It is, the motion was by Alderman Meyer, second by Alderman. Alderman Vick.
Yes.
Alderman Rollins.
Yes.
Alderman Barset.
Yes.
Yes.
Alderman Andrews.
Yes.
Carried.
Yes.
The agreement is approved as amended. C is the resolution.
Okay. Council approval of resolution 2015-05, adopt a lot agreement with rights and restrictions as set forth in the agreement establishing the rules, regulations for the adopt a lot program in the city of Grafton.
I think that's what you just did.
There's a
She
page
said there was
16.
another.
One's the agreement, the other's a resolution.
The resolution was intended to say, approving the agreement. It got behind the agreement, but the resolution does nothing more than adopt the agreement you just adopted. So I thought, I vote yes. Okay.
All right,
It says
clarify
the-
for me that the
well-
resolution is now part of the agreement?
Well, the resolution says that the attached adopt a lot agreement be approved. So it probably should have been page 14, and what you approved was the attachment. So if there's no objection, I think you already approved resolution 2015-05 as amended. Does that make sense to everybody?
Fine.
So, resolution 2015-5 was approved as part of the agreement.
Yes, it was just a cover sheet for the agreement
All right.
you said you liked.
And it was 6 ayes, I got it.
Motion by
So we won't do a separate.
Alderman Bowersack to rescind the authorizing Juno Engineering to complete the design for the Clinton Street sewer extension and applying for permission from EPA.
Just so moved. Exactly what you said. We had a motion at the last meeting to instruct Charlie Juno to go ahead and apply for the IEPA and extend the sewer on Clinton Street. I'm making a motion at this meeting to rescind that. If I get a second, we can discuss it. If I don't get a second, I second. The reason that I'm rescinding that is because I'm still confused as to why we're doing that. There are two basic reasons. Charlie Juno says that it's going to cost about $40,000 to put that in. And up until today, we had no building permit for anybody up in that area. And that building permit, I think, was approved today. I have not had a chance to look at it. Until I have a chance to look at that building permit, I'm not going to vote to have that go up there. I also don't believe anybody's talked to Mr. Mathenia, who supposedly is the one who's in violation of the sewer line right up there. Somebody needs to sit down and talk to him and explain that. The cost of it, as I've already stated, I think is extreme. I also feel like that the city workers do not have the capability nor the time to install that. I think it needs to be rescinded because those reasons, plus I'm under the impression at our last meeting that we are in the process of selling the sewer plant, although I realize the agreement right now is just for them to operate it and to manage it. I would like to have a recommendation from them in regard to what needs to be done.
Would you like to say something? we've been talking about this now since July of last year. We came to the meeting with the intention of buying that lot and building it. We told the city council we were not buy that lot, we were going to buy contingent upon getting a city sewer hookup. The board voted on it, they said yes. The next day we closed on it. I feel that if by rescinding it, if you would not put the sewer line in, you are reneging on basically a verbal contract guaranteeing us a city sewer line. Now, as far as Bob Mathenia, or Don Mathenia, that is not his sewer line that is exposed. That is a city sewer line. That was made clear last meeting that once that becomes on the city property and is taken over by the city, it becomes a property and also the responsibility of the city. I also understand that there's at least 2 houses on a 4-inch line that does not meet EPA requirements. We have a building permit that we want to build a house there. We feel the obligation of the city to supply us not only with water, but with sewer, and streets and everything else. That's what the whole idea of building in the city is all about. You're going to regain taxes off of that. I talked to Chad McCracky, he wants to build a new house up there, and also a couple of guest houses possibly. There's also a lot there that Jeff Martin owns that could be developed. That's better for the city. The city would recoup probably in 1 year, if everybody would build, they would recoup that money off of property taxes in 1 year, and it would be beneficial to the city of Grafton. Now, why you don't want to be beneficial to the city of Grafton is beyond me. But I would think Grafton wants growth. They're looking for people to build new houses in this town. We are trying to do that. We are trying to do everything by the rules, getting it done, and all we're doing is running into a headway, and the only headway we're running into is you. And I don't understand why. Is there something personal about this that you're doing this, or are you doing it for a favor for a friend?
Well, this sewer.
I'm just asking.
Bill, I think when the sewer plant is taken over, they will put a sewer line in. The city shouldn't put one in.
I've been waiting since July of last year to start construction. I was promised a sewer line in October of last year. That sewer line does not meet EPA code.
Now that things have changed for the city, it has to be handled differently.
This hasn't changed yet. The deal has not been done. We would like to start construction. We've got a lot of expense in that property, and it's because, Flo, you voted yes to put the sewer line in.
Bill, I think I even made the motion for $6,800
And you
because
should
that's
have put
what
the
we
sewer
thought
line,
we
and you
were
should have put the
spending.
sewer line in. Why didn't you put it in
Now
last
it's
year?
30,000 or 40,000.
I don't believe it's, I talked to Charlie, that 40,000 figure is high. It's not gonna cost that.
I would ask the board not to vote on this. I would ask them to vote it down. Please let us continue construction in town. We have a set of plans up there. We have expenses and plans. We've done 2 sets of plans now. We've done everything that you've asked. We paid the money for the building application. We paid the money for the sewer tap-on fee. Everybody at the last meeting has agreed it's a responsibility of the city to repair the line that is not in compliance and to supply homeowners and landowners with water and sewer in the city limits of Grafton.
Bill, we really need to put a moratorium on that whole hillside because you need some ground studies.
Well, we're not talking
done.
about that. We're not talking, right now we are talking, why would I want to spend any more money when I can't even hook up to a sewer line? I'm talking about a sewer line right
Sewer
now.
line in if there's a
Put the
chance that
sewer
your house
line
will
in.
slip off the hill.
The house is not going to slip off the hill.
I don't think that, excuse me, let's stay on target. We're not talking about the houses slipping off.
Again, I'm asking the board, do not pass the reset. Let Charlie June finish his job. It is a tip, it's a tip district. Let's spend some money and get the thing repaired.
Alderman Heck?
Let's make sure we understand exactly what we're voting, how we're voting, what a yes vote is.
A yes
What a no vote is.
A yes vote rescinds, and as I heard Mr. Barsak's explanation, I'm not sure he intends that to be permanent rescind, but it certainly says to Mr. Juneau, quit working on a project that's going to cost us money until some other things get resolved, I gather.
Well, number E is the same thing again.
And I was going to recommend if this passes, well, if it passes, I assume number E would be tabled. But a yes vote says, tell Juno to stop working on it, at least for the time being. Correct, Jerry? Is that your intent?
I just want to make sure everybody.
Right. It was confusing.
Just a minute. I have to switch the tape. Thank you. Commercial break. Alderman Beck.
No.
Alderman Rollin.
Yes.
Alderman Bowersox.
Yes.
Alderman Linnemeyer.
No.
Alderman Amber.
No.
Alderman Carey.
Yes.
Mayor.
No.
Motion does not pass.
Thank you.
So the next is E, council approval of resolution 2015-06.
Call the question.
What do you need a vote?
We need a motion.
Vote for approval. Make the motion.
Linnemeyer made the motion. Amber made the second. Alderman Beck.
Yes.
Alderman Rollin.
No.
Alderman Bowersox.
No.
Alderman Linnemeyer.
Yes.
Alderman Amber.
Yes.
Alderman Carey.
No.
Mayor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We'll move on, council approval of...
Question, I have a question to ask. This does not mean it's gonna be done, right? It only means that we're gonna pursue it.
We are pursuing.
Yes.
Because I have to come back with an actual cost, and that would have to be approved at a later time.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What we're saying is we don't want to just throw up our hands and say it's not going to be done. We can proceed with getting that information to make a decision.
Which will cost the city about $7,000. Then we'll make a decision after we find out what the cost is going to be to install it, to decide if we're really going to do it. I just want to make sure I understand the procedure.
And this actually, and I don't believe I wrote that, but it says to construct it. Part of the construction question that I believe Mr. Juneau has to resolve is it an in-house project or is it a bid project? Certainly if it's a bid project, it has to come back to the council for approval of whatever bid.
Because the TIF budget this year has a $16,000 expense. He says it's going to cost more than that because it's solid stone and you're only going to be able to put it about 18 inches deep, and then you're going to have to cover it with insulation, and then you're going to have to do it with concrete over the top of that, which is going to jump the amount up. So on the TIF budget for next year, we'll have to make sure that that money is built in there.
Right. Yes. Clearly, if it can't be done in-house, and I'm not sure how that played out in his study, but if it can't be done in-house and the amount exceeds, what do we still have, 10,000?
20.
20. If it exceeds that, it must be bid, and you would have it coming back to the council for approval.
Thank you.
Okay, move on then to council approval of resolution 2015-07. The mayor and appropriate officials are hereby authorized and directed to execute on behalf of the city of Grafton the attached operation and management agreement with Illinois American Water Company. We voted on that.
We did vote on that on the suspension of the rules at our last meeting. I suggested to Mary, I thought it should be put on the agenda to be reconfirmed at tonight's meeting. It's the same thing you previously approved.
Okay.
Question before, how's this related to the sale of the sewer plant?
This is not necessarily related, although, as has been shared in executive session, there have been discussions about the sale of the sewer plant to Illinois American Water, that is yet to move forward. I think it's being further developed. But in the meantime, this is simply a management contract. If
And
you
it
decide-
states it's for 1 year with the possibility of an extension for 2 more years.
Correct.
Does that mean the sale might take as long as 3 years?
Oh, no. Assuming this goes as everyone anticipates it should go, it should be concluded within 1 year.
Or before. They use terms of October.
If it is not concluded, then this agreement could either be terminated or perhaps extended.
We need a motion. Alderman Cliff?
Yes.
Alderman Rowland?
Yes.
Alderman Bowersox?
Yes.
Alderman Livermore?
Yes.
Alderman Adler?
Yes.
Alderman Carey?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next, the city of Grafton, the Chamber of Commerce is requesting partnership with the city for a marketing plan. Tourism Committee is meeting Saturday, and the proposal will be delivered on Monday to the city alderman. Is that delivered to the alderman? Sue Rod, you going to speak to
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Grafton Chamber's been working real hard to put together a real comprehensive marketing plan, and they had discussed, I think, kind of had a general consensus with the board members of what they wanted to do, and they presented it to the tourism committee. And one of the things that we wanted, the original plan was for 3 campaigns, it was $70,000 in marketing value, and it would be for $20,000. Give $70,000 for $20,000. The Chamber of Commerce would contribute 12, and the tourism committee would contribute 8,000. They wanted to add a 4th campaign to include Art in the Park. And in doing so, that would it would kind of mimic one of the other campaigns for an additional 6,000. So then the total contribution for the city for both the St. Louis and the Springfield campaign would be about 24,000. The ads will qualify for the lodging tax fund, and so that would
Not all of them.
some of them would.
No. For already defined.
Pardon me.
The ads that are focused on St. Louis would not qualify for the tourism fund because they're not overnight, so they would be general fund. And the additional $10,000, which would be a campaign at Springfield, would qualify for tourism funds.
Let me clarify something. So we're gonna spend $10,000 in Springfield area to promote Grafton overnight stays and play and stay kind of thing. And did I understand you, we wanna spend $6,000 more just to advertise music in the park? Art in the park, I'm sorry. That's fine. I misunderstood you because I thought, what else?
No, it was.
Art in the
that's
park
one
is
other
fine.
big event
No,
for
I
the
just
chamber.
was clarifying that because that was a lot of money. That's fine.
And I mean, the chamber spent endless hours putting this together, and they really negotiated some great deals. And, there's several of the websites, several of the radio stations will do email blasts in addition to just their listeners, and the email blast for 181,000 people, and the listeners are 652,000. So, I think we're, very lucky to have dedicated people that are on the chamber that have taken our chamber from, I don't know what it was, but I know when I was in Jersey, their chamber was more of a social thing and not a may be different now, but, they're truly concerned about the well-being of Grafton and getting the people to come and stay, and I think it's admirable that you guys have wanted to work with them. It gives the signal, you want to work with businesses and people that, we need more businesses in town, and they need to know that, get people to come here. I mean, I've been to the islands before, and I've asked people from somewhere in Iowa, how did you end up in the Virgin Islands? Well, we came here on a trip one time, and so we decided to stay. We liked it. So, and I think that's how it goes sometimes.
Sue, I have a question for you.
Sure.
As chairman of the tourism committee and chairman of the business center, I applaud the chamber for everything that they're putting together, but how are you going to relate all of this with the business center, which is funded through the tourism? How are we going to bring the business center, the people that work out there, into the circle with what the chamber is wanting to do?
I tell you, Bobby, I think, we should all meet and have a common message. I think, I really think there should be training and stuff, or at least informational meetings with each other, and so that we come up with a consistent message for the city. That, I mean, I'm all for that, and I think that would be a good thing to do to work together.
If this would go forward, I would like the chamber to include the people that are running the business center and on what's going on, so they can help promote the city and all the activities in the Coast Salon a lot better than they do right now.
Well, I'm with you. I mean, I don't think that anybody in the chamber wants to exclude anybody, and it's just like with this advertising. I mean, they don't say, oh, well, it's these people and they're chamber members. I mean, we want them to come to Grafton, we want them to be here and enjoy the whole community that, we're all so proud of. So,
I want to make sure that they're included in on it too.
Jeannie, couldn't we, couldn't we do something, some kind of an invite or we could set up something?
Promote what you want. If they don't know what's going on, and they come to the chamber, sure they can.
Good. And if we have to have some side things or schedule some stuff at other times, we'll do it. We'll figure out a way. Because I think the more people that know, the better, I mean.